name's Abby. I sit in the corner. Probably know that. Yeah. I have a question for you guys, okay? You can answer. Whoever feels really smart today, they can tell me. What's an element? Good.
42.
42. Perfect. I don't need to continue speaking anymore. Alright, well, when I was thinking about this, I kind of blanked. So what did I do? I pulled out my phone, and I do this thing pretty much, I could probably say safely, I do this 10 times a day. When I hear a word I don't know, or something that I'm interested in, I look it up in a dictionary. Now call me a nerd, but my 4th grade teacher told me, if you don't know what something means, you won't unless you look it up. So that's what I did. Mr. Webster would say that an element is one of the basic substances that are made up of atoms of only one kind, and that cannot be separated by ordinary chemical means into simpler substances. Now, my idea of an element is kind of like that, but I'm real sorry, Joe, I'm not really one for math or chemistry or anything like that. So my idea is, it's natural, but it's a little bit different from that. My idea of an element isn't an atom or a molecule or any sort of term that would make me sound really smart whenever I say it by understanding what it is. My element is all in my head. Seriously. My head is full all the time. No matter what kind of day I'm having or what my workload looks like for the week, I always have all these different things bouncing around up there. Yeah, they're taking up space, sure, but they're also kind of, in a way, creating space because they're allowing my mind to grow. Now, that might sound interesting to you or a little bit zen-like. No, I'm not a hippie. Some people might say that I am, but one of my favorite things to do is use my mind. Now, if I had to pick, and I mean if I was seriously being forced, like say by some big guy holding a gun to my head, or a not so big bald guy over there in the corner holding an A above my head, I would definitely say that my element is thinking. Sure, I like to do a lot of other things, and there are a lot of things that I've always been involved with in my life, and I fit in really well with the tribe of all those other hooligans who like to do the same thing that I do. But I really do believe that the best thing for me, and the only thing that I'm sure that I need to do for the rest of my life, is think. Now, back in the day, and I mean back in the ugly time before females were considered actual human beings, there was this awful thing. It was a disease. It was called neurasthenia. Now, neurasthenia is something, pretty much it was made up by some guy whose wife got sick, and coincidentally, she wrote a lot of things down, and now and then she liked to paint a picture. So he diagnosed his wife with neurasthenia, and he was a doctor, so the thing kind of stuck. Unfortunately, the only cure for neurasthenia that was known back then was rest. Now, please tell me, what kind of sane human being would want to spend more time resting with a mind that someone else thought was crazy? No one. If you think something's wrong with you in your mind, you probably don't want to do anything else except for get away from your mind. Am I right? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Good. All right, now, so if I had to go back to that choice between the guy with the gun or an insane asylum, you can be damn sure that I would pick the guy with the gun, because my thoughts are mine, and they're meant to be shared. Neurasthenia makes me so mad. Now, because the only cure for this was rest, clearly, people didn't really know anything about it. So how are these people supposed to diagnose a human being with a disease that could or could not be a real thing? Now, today we know of neurasthenia as hysteria, however you want to say it, and we know that that's more common in women. So that's really unfortunate for us girls. So Nicole, if someone walked up to you and said, "You really like to think and you're really good at it, I think something might be wrong with you," wouldn't that kind of just piss you off? Yeah, me too. Neurasthenia makes me so mad. Sorry. Sometimes this thing kind of happens. I I kind of beat on the same thought for days and sometimes even years at a time. I think myself in circles. Neurasthenia makes me so mad. Now, these damn circles, they never end, okay? So if you imagine you have a big circle here, and all the time, for days or years, weeks, whatever, you're thinking about the same thing. And if you relate that to your finger tracing around a circle, you can keep doing it for as long as you want, because technically a circle is never ending, right? So if I do this all day, my finger's not going to end up anywhere except for on a different point of the same circle. Is that true? Yeah. All right, so if I'm not ending up anywhere different, but I'm still on the same thought, my mind is being totally preoccupied and consumed with nothing except for the process of thinking or tracing the circle. Does that make sense? So when my mind gets caught in these, I like to call them circle traps, because this happens to me pretty often. When they get caught in there, like Liz said, I start to hear a silence. And eventually, when things are quiet long enough, I start to hear sounds. No, I do not have neurasthenia. I like sounds. They're ever changing. You can hear a million different sounds every day, and they're always completely different. Sometimes, to me, thoughts that are put on paper are too complex, and my head just can't wrap around them through any form of visual learning. But those same agonizing, beautiful, crazy thoughts can be set to music, and then those concepts click inside my mind. Now imagine tracing a circle for years at a time, and then all of a sudden, the silence stops, and you hear clicking. Click, 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 all the time. This clicking is a wall, and the wall is something that stands between me and my flow. So once a click stops my flow from continuing around my circle, and it stops my thought, that's whenever I enter the zone. Now, I guess you could say technically that these annoying circles that never seem to end are the only way that I can get to the zone that I want to be in. They're the map, really. So, once the flow of my never-ending, my circling, spiraling out of control thoughts is stopped, and I'm in one place, everything gets quiet.
They ran out of time.
What?
Hold on.
Okay.
I've got it.
Okay, continue.
Okay. Okay. Once my thoughts reach this wall, once I hear the drug-like sounds, and once they're absorbed through my head and then they're released out the other side, I'm unable to focus on anything except for the sounds that I hear. Now, remind you that those sounds are coming from something that started as complete chaos, going around in a circle constantly. It's narrowed down to only one sound. In order for me to reach this wall that I want to get to every day, I have to hear sound. It has to be interesting and it has to be complex. And that's why I write music. Because if I can't go out and get sound from something that's already been produced, I have to make it myself. Or else I'm just going to be going around in a circle for the rest of my life. No one wants that. The world around me and all the words that are inside my head, all the words that are spiraling around and all the sounds that are jumbled inside of me, once I reach the zone, they become silent. Shh. Now I'm in the zone. Nothing else in this world exists. There's no wall left, and there's no sound. Nothing exists. Have a great day.